Hey guys, well the fire is out, so that's good news, and no lives were lost and no injuries have been reported. But this is a look at the damage right now. Several fire units are still here on scene. We know that a total of 19 people are displaced. 6 are kids, 13 are adults. We know that a police officer who first responded also had to be rescued, and several residents were trapped on the second floor of this apartment complex. It took fire crews about 20 minutes to knock out this fire. 4 units are affected, and this is located off of Roxana Drive in South Austin. It was first reported around 3:30 this morning. We spoke with a couple of these displaced residents who kind of walked us through what had happened. They're thankful that no one was injured, but of course very sad that they pretty much lost everything they had. We still don't know what caused this fire, but you can still see that AFD is here. They're kind of regrouping to figure out what to do next, and the Red Cross just got here assisting with those displaced residents. I'll have some of that interview of those residents talking to us in the next 30 minutes. Back to you. Hey, good morning, guys. Well, we still don't know how this fire started, what the cause was, and how much damage it did, but we know that 19 people are displaced. The Red Cross got here about 30 minutes ago. They're helping with those displaced residents. Out of those 19, 6 are children, 13 being adults. And here's a look at the damage. Some firefighters are still here on scene assessing the damage, but we know that 4 apartment units are affected. Once again, we still don't know what caused this. The fire first broke out around 3:30 this morning here off of Roxana Drive in South Austin. We know that when a police officer first responded to the fire, he went in and tried to help with those residents. Many of them started becoming trapped inside, and AFD had to help them out. But a displaced resident we spoke with, she's only lived here for 2 months and says she's been facing problems with her apartment ever since. She says things are constantly breaking, and earlier in the day there was an electrical shortage, so she's not too surprised this fire happened.
The majority of us are parents, young parents. We have babies. My daughter's only 1. Like, what if my neighbors knocking on the door didn't do anything? They would have pulled us out in a body bag. Like this, we're all taking this very seriously, and I think we're just gonna go ahead and pursue with taking them to court. Like, enough is enough, and I do believe this was a breaking point for all of us.
Williams also says there's been a carbon monoxide leak at this apartment unit. Things, once again, are constantly breaking. She says she's thankful her family is okay. No one was injured, and we will have another live report coming up in 30 minutes. We still don't know what caused this fire. We still don't know. AFD has not given us any updates yet, but thankfully the fire is out. It took crews about 20 minutes to knock it out. Red Cross is here, as you can see behind me, helping with those displaced residents. There are 19. 6 of those 19 are children. And then here's a look at the apartment complex that caught fire. 4 units are affected, and like you guys mentioned, one of the police officers that first responded to the scene went in to help, and she ended up being trapped with a couple of the residents. AFD had to go up to the second floor and help them out, but thankfully no one has been injured. Some of the displaced residents tell me that they have problems with this apartment unit ever since they moved in. They say things are constantly breaking. The electrical shortages are happening on and off almost daily, so they're not too surprised that this fire started. Lisa said she was awake when the fire first started. She smelled smoke and then realized something was going on. She unfortunately has no place to go, so she is getting help from the Red Cross, like the other several residents that are displaced after this fire. Hey, good morning, ladies. Arson investigators are on scene, still working to determine the cause of this fire, but like you mentioned, several residents are displaced. The fire first broke out around 3:30 this morning. Some of the residents we spoke with say they did not hear any smoke alarms go off, but a lot of them were notified because they smelled smoke, and then once they came outside of their apartment units, they saw flames. We know 4 units are affected. A total of 19 people are displaced. Out of those 19, 6 are kids, 13 are adults. A police officer first responded. She went in to help, and she got stuck and trapped because of the flames. We know that AFD had to help her and several of the residents they helped rescue them. It took about 20 minutes to knock out the fire, and one of the displaced residents we spoke with who lived here for only about 2 months or so, well, she says she's been facing problems with her apartment ever since. That's kind of what a lot of the residents have been telling us. They say things are constantly breaking. Earlier in the day, there was an electrical shortage, so she's not too surprised this fire broke out.
The majority of us are parents, young parents. We have babies. My daughter's only 1. Like, what if my neighbors knocking on the door didn't do anything? They would have pulled us out in a body bag. Like this, we're all taking this very seriously, and I think we're just gonna go ahead and pursue with taking them to court. Like, enough is enough, and I do believe this was a breaking point for all of us.
That's kind of what a lot of residents have been telling us, breaking point for a lot of them, because there are several issues that they've been dealing with in this apartment complex. You can see the Red Cross is here assisting with those displaced residents. Once again, we still don't know what caused this fire, but thankfully no one was injured. Well, thankfully no one was hurt, but we do know that a police officer as well as several residents had to be rescued from their balconies. This officer was one of the first people on scene, and then he became trapped as well as the other residents on the second floor because quickly the fire just engulfed the entire apartment complex. But here's a live look at the damage. We know that 19 people are displaced according to Arson Fire. The initial call came in just before 3:30 this morning, and based on what residents are telling me, they say the fire started in the storage closet of a fourplex in Southwest Austin, just off of Slaughter and Roxana Drive. Residents say they realized there was a fire after smelling smoke. Yeah, you can see right now the area is blocked off. Arson Fire here. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused this fire. You can see one of the residents still grabbing their belongings of what's left inside of her apartment unit. But we know 19 people are displaced, a total of 4 units affected. We still don't know what caused this fire, but thankfully no injuries have been reported at this time. Back to the studio. Yeah, well, we know that 19 people are displaced, including 6 children. We still don't know what caused this fire, but it broke out just around 3:30 this morning here in Southwest Austin. Here's a live look of the damage. Arson investigators are on scene as they work to determine how this started. But the Red Cross also responded in helping 16 people. The Red Cross says they opened about 5 cases and providing those displaced residents some temporary shelter and basic necessities that they need in the meantime. But once again, took crews about 20 minutes to knock out this fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and several residents that we spoke with say this apartment complex has had a lot of issues ever since they moved in. Their power goes on and off. They said previously there was a carbon monoxide leak here, so they're not too shocked that there was a fire earlier this morning. The majority of first responders have left the scene, but a couple of fire units still here once again as they try to determine what caused this fire. But I'm happy to report no one was hurt. Back to you. Well, investigators just left the scene, but we still don't know what caused this fire. You can see the damage is pretty significant. We know 4 units are affected, and like you two mentioned, 19 people are displaced, and that's including 6 children. The initial call came in just before 3:30 this morning, and based on what residents are telling me, they say the fire started in the storage closet of a fourplex, and then firefighters rescued several people from their balconies, including one Austin police officer who went up to try to help those who were trapped. Several residents say that they've lived here for a very long time, and they're always facing problems ever since moving into this apartment complex. One says things are constantly breaking, and earlier in the day there was an electrical shortage, so she's not too surprised this fire happened. The Red Cross was here on scene helping those displaced residents. They say they're currently helping 16 people, and they've opened 5 cases. Thankfully, no reported injuries. Back to you in studio. No, we still have no word on what caused this fire or how it started. But I've been telling you guys all morning long how people have been telling me who lived here, they believe the fire started in the storage closet. We believe that is the storage closet they're talking about. This is an up-close look now of some of the damage left behind from this fire. You can see AFD posted this yellow caution tape notifying people not to enter this area. And then code enforcement is here. They also posted that danger sign. So we still don't know how this this happened. We know 19 people are displaced, including 6 children. Red Cross came out here to assist with those people. The fire call first came in around 3:30 this morning. Firefighters rescued several people from their balconies, including one Austin police officer who went up and to try to help those who were trapped. And residents say they first realized that there was a fire after smelling smoke. The Red Cross tells me they are working with 16 residents who are displaced, and thankfully no reported injuries at this time. According to Austin Fire, 19 people are displaced, including 6 children. The initial call came in around 3:30 this morning. As you can see behind me, 4 units are damaged. Based on what residents are telling me, they say the fire started in the storage closet of a 4-plex in southwest Austin, just off of Slaughter and Roxana Drive. Firefighters rescued several people from their balconies, including one Austin police officer who went up to try and help those who were trapped. Residents say they realized there was a fire after smelling smoke. Several residents also tell me that they've lived here for several months and they're constantly facing problems. They tell me that things are always breaking, and earlier in the day there was an electrical shortage, so they're not too surprised this fire took place.
No smoke alarms went off at all. And thank God, that I have people that care about my family enough that ran inside and got my baby and got my family out. You know what I mean? My son's stuff is in there. There's a lot that we just lost.
The majority of us are parents, young parents. We have babies. My daughter's only 1. What if my neighbors knocking on the door didn't do anything? They would have pulled us out in a body bag.
The Red Cross is helping those who are affected by this fire, and thankfully no one was hurt. Reporting in Southwest Austin, Jacqueline Sarkeesian, Fox 7 Austin News. Yeah, well, luckily none of those people that had to be rescued were injured. According to Austin Fire Department, 19 people are displaced after the fire broke out around 3:30 this morning. That's when the initial call came in. Based on what residents are telling us, they say the fire started in the storage closet of a 4-plex here in southwest Austin. Firefighters rescued several people from their balconies, including one Austin police officer who went up to try and help those who were trapped. Residents say they realized there was a fire after smelling smoke. The Red Cross is helping those affected. We know they opened about 5 cases and are currently helping 16 displaced residents.